I just did a whole video. Then decided I didn't want to do that video anymore. Gemini season is officially over. We are now all in our feelings. I can say from the last message that the collective thing that I was delivering, the collective energy read, was that we're all being forced to tap into our inner child, the part of ourselves that we tucked away. I said so many good things in that video, but like, I started overthinking it. I don't even, this probably should be a video diary too. Guys, I'm just a human. Aren't we all trying to figure this out together? I just find it super handy that God gave me access to lots of answers. And as soon as I found out, like, that I was like a conduit to be able to get people answers, I was like, I gotta do something. I gotta help the homies. But I'll be going through it too. So, what would I say if I could say anything on here? I've been getting froze up a lot lately, guys, because I'm at a crossroads with like, what am I supposed to say and what am I not supposed to say? And let me fix my hair. I just had it up in a bun. I was a whole different person for the last video. I had it up in a bun and everything. But can I say whatever I want? And it's not that it's offensive to anybody. Oh, this is inner child healing stuff. We're doing shadow work together, guys. Look at us. We're growing up. I was always tall weird when I was little. I think even to this day, I probably creep my dad out. But he'd always say, "Why are you so dark?" Right? Ah, that just made me feel some type of way now. I don't think me trying to think of me from the outside. I wasn't dark. I was quiet. I was trying to stay out of the way, and that really wasn't even. Oh, excuse me. Oh, that wasn't even my original demeanor. I started off like really loud and flamboyant, if you will. I was always putting on a show or writing scripts or making people sit through my shows or my performances. And when I got like older, I just put them on for myself and I got more quiet over time. But that's what we're supposed to be focusing on this month. What part of yourself did you tuck away to be more acceptable? It's like there was a diamond, a spark. And there was a spark that went through every card that I pulled out in the last thing, like refinding your spark, that part of yourself that shines differently than anybody else. Like in the beginning of the What's Love Got to Do with the video, when Tina was singing her own song and like she knew from the beginning she just was not going to fit to this choir because she had her thing. A lot of that was stomped out of us because other people didn't understand that that light was necessary for something bigger. So regression, sitting down and tapping back into little you, like, hey, where's that part of you that was excited about life? And by excited about life, I mean the limitless possibilities. When you were little and you saw a commercial, you'd be like racking up a check in your head, like, yeah, I'm gonna get that one day. There was no way it couldn't happen for you because you were gonna grow up and you were finally gonna be the adult and you were gonna be in charge of stuff. That energy got sullied by actual adulthood. But the key to manifesting in alchemy and magic is tapping back into that part of yourself that was in alignment and never actually came apart or became disconnected from source. You just didn't acknowledge it in the same way because a couple of bad things happened. Yeah, trauma has a way of blocking inner child stuff. But the beauty in the pain is that once you have this gook, it actually works as fuel for what you want to do going forward. Like now you can light it with the spark. Just I may only have one match, but I can cause an explosion. Energy, just like that one spark of what you have. And all the pain and trauma, the fire, the fuel from that is like your phoenix energy. This Cancer season is about nurturing the foundation of yourself, who you are, looking back at your childhood, what you wanted for yourself without those limitations, and finding ways to incorporate more of that energy into your everyday life. I was simply doing affirmations and all the grown up things for healing at first. But as soon as I started coloring and watching cartoons with my daughter, like I'm watching She-Ra, she threw in the Powerpuff Girls, the other kid threw in Proud Family. I started watching Timmy Turner, the Fairly Odd Parents this morning. Sailor Moon still gets me lit. It's that theme song, especially that Fighting Evil by Moonlight now. It really slaps differently. But just remembering, how about not even remembering, having a second where things aren't stressful or when you're not in your head, like it's specifically for me, like I said, everything is constantly going through my head. Now we got like war stuff going on. I did a lot of channels I want no part of, but this is beyond me. All right, so earlier this week, just random story off, because my gifts are doing amazing things, but at the same time, I'm feeling like, what am I supposed to do with this, God? I don't feel like I'm just supposed to be sitting in the house with this, but it also doesn't feel like I'm just supposed to walk outside, like doing stuff. Like there's something bigger for this. So 211, right? Comes in and he has a coworker who he's been like coaching or whatever, and he was having some issues, and he was like, "Yeah, I told him I would pull some cards for him, right?" So as soon as he said that, I was like, "Right," but I was just gonna watch him pull these cards. It ain't my business. Everybody has their own gifts. Sure enough, he's like, it would just be better if you just pull them for me. So whatever. I go to pull the cards and I'm like, okay. So it looks like he's being put through a test right now. He's used to being in a masculine position in his relationship. So the universe is trying to see how he'll do as a stay-at-home dad for a little while. And if he can learn how to balance and be the nurturing party in the relationship, he will receive a great overnight opportunity where he'll have some time to really think on what he wants in life and get the space he needs from the domestic duties that are wearing him out. That's what I told him. The next day, the dude writes back, "This is scary. I just got offered an overnight position. I have an interview this week." So stuff like that has been happening all the time. Keep in mind, y'all, this was not my original skill set. This kicked in, but I believe that's happening for several other people too. I didn't do as many one-on-one sessions this week because I was sort of like feeling, I don't know, well, y'all, because my dreams weren't even coming through. I started sleeping in the Akashic records, and that sounds crazy, right? But you can find like libraries and stuff, like the visuals for them on YouTube. But I use them as portals. The same way when you learn how to do astral projection and stuff, you go through different portals to get to different places. So I've been in different libraries sleeping as opposed to like out and about, because weird shit again. Last week I was asleep, and I am gifted. I'll say I'm gifted with the ability to see astral bodies and beings. That is also getting stronger. I guess mediumship and being able to see things beyond the veil, because I was asleep. But I looked up, like just at the tail end, and I saw a being on my ceiling. And then he crawled out of my room once he realized I saw him. And then all I saw was like the tail. It was very alligator-ish, the tail. But that is what I have to deal with on a regular basis. And I'm like, all right, why am I seeing these things? Why is my house turning into the insidious home? At this point, I have to have these guys. These are angel cards, right? I have them all around my house. And I've had them here since the last spiritual attack, because they were like my army as I was going through that. Oh, God, it's so good. But I have to pause a lot. I know all this stuff is real. I talk to y'all about it all the time. Stuff happens, but like, God, it's the feeling I've been having lately. There is no, I won't say that. The first thing that came to me, or that I picked up during my spiritual journey, was a spiritual warfare book. I had no idea that that was setting the tone for what I was going to be focused on for majority of this. but there is no book that explains it in the way that I am seeing it or the way that I am going through it. But when I talk to people in sessions, I recognize patterns. A couple people that are usually quite, do I want to say jolly, chipper, have been reaching out because they're like, I don't know what's going on. So I think of an easy way to put this. Let me go ahead and share my little screen. Where you at, boo? There we go. Okay, so I don't think I made a video on it recently during that attack thing. This is beginning of May 9th, right? There was a lot going on. And by a lot going on, I mean there were a lot of different covens doing black magic, but I think they were all working the same way. I know they was all working the same way. I'm gonna stop saying I think. I feel like it's a disrespect sort of kind of myself at this point. So the gag is much like King Solomon. King Solomon had a kingdom, right? He got put on by his queen, Sheba. She hooked him up with like spirit sex, right? And then he had gifts. But then he realized he could use demons to create his kingdom. And he learned about each demon, wrote it down, created rites, made a whole book, right? Of how to control these demons to make them build your kingdom. Now, keep in mind, demons are traffic angels. Who's trafficking demons? Satan. He has captured angels and put like they messed up a contract, or they got stuck in the further. They did something against the laws of God's kingdom that made them wards of Satan's state. Sort of, kind of. You came down to earth, you did something, you got messed up. And the Watchers are the ones that have been here the longest. And the group of the 82, all of that I said 82, it's 72. They all are trapped angels, right? So Solomon's just calling on these little traffic angels, like, hey, you build this, you give me knowledge on this, you do that, whatever the case may be. So at one point, he decides to call upon Ereshkigal. This is the same as Hecate, right? And he's compelling the future out of her. Like he wants to know his fate. And she was like, bro, one day your kingdom is going to fall, and all the demons you've been playing with is going to play in your face. They're going to mess up all your stuff until Jesus come and pack them up. That's what she told him. Sure enough, his kingdom fell. And when the people broke into the temples where he was holding all the spirits that he had bound to build his kingdom, they knocked them over, set them free. So the demons were running amok in the palace until many, many, many years later, when Jesus came in and just like packed them up, locked them back in there, sent them back to hell during his little time before he was like hung and then left to India, right? This same process, that book of the Keys of Solomon, is being used by several different covens to call these beings to not only build their kingdoms, but to attack the people. The gag is the demons have somehow come up with a plan on their own. So the humans think they're using the demons to pull about things that they want to happen, but they're really being puppeteered themselves so that they'll get released. This last event on May 9th, right, released this thing called the Leviathan spirit. What was, I made a post about it. Apophis is the other name, right? So what happens is, and these are just like general feelings that it causes as this energy rises. A spirit is a frequency, a channel. They decided to release or to call or conjure, because they, of course, they thought it was their idea, but this thing, and I shared about this on my page. So what some of you are sensing is the energy coming off of this being. There's just the serpent that they have sliding around the earth, and this is a huge serpent. Y'all remember that part in Aladdin where Jafar turned into the snake and it looks like almost exactly like this? Like it's called the destroyer, but it destroys by making people's worst characteristics about themselves come up. Everybody's shadow is rising. Now, God looks at this as an opportunity for you to become your best self and overcome all those challenges that the most low throws at you, right? But as a human going through it, you feel like, what is going on here? And guys, it's because there are people who are doing black magic because they are under the impression that if they do these rituals for the beings whispering in their ears or talking to them as they channel and all this stuff, that they will be rewarded once these beings are released. Once they are allowed to roam the earth and attack people. If you looked at any of the Atlantis stuff I shared, that final video shows you how the beings got out and they attached to the people. There's also a Ghostbusters movie that explains this exactly too. The Ghostbusters that has the girls in it. Which one is that? That made me just want to watch it again because I really enjoy that one. But that's what's going on here. And I can appreciate the fact that they have to disclose. I'm gonna write Ghostbusters with girls in it. What is the name of it? I'm so wrong for this. Is it? It's not Afterlife. It's just Ghostbusters 2016. Boo, they ain't even try. But in that film, there is a guy who is trapping beings, putting them in the ley lines or powering the ley lines so that he can release them all at one time. This is what happened at the end of Atlantis. If you don't know that tale, there's a channel called Spirit Science. All you do is type in human crap. Let me just type it in because baby, I was about to mess that up. Hidden human history, spirit science. If you got an hour, it's the best hour that you could spend learning something. Because we're about to go through a loop again. And ooh, FOCO. But the beings come out and they attack. This is the same thing as the Prince of Egypt, also kind of when the plagues came about and they attacked everybody who wasn't protected or covered or didn't know how to cover themselves. Oh, damn, that really just gave me the clarity I needed on the fact that I'm supposed to be doing spiritual warfare verse because we're already in the thick of it. Because not only do you have to worry about the fact that beings are being released, large energy forms, but then you have to worry about like the phones and stuff that are attacking the physical bodies. I did sense that there were some devices or programs that are spinning people's chakra backwards. And what that does is it starts feeding you energy from the tree of death instead. And so you start feeling more depressed. Your energy is lower. It's just all trash. Unfortunately, the food that you eat really matters. If you put anything in your body that is of the beast system, let's call it the beast system, right? That gives the dark ones, let's say it like that, legal rights over your body. Like if you know that your food came from a place where the animals are being abused or something like that, and you still ate it, then boom, now something like the verticulitis or something can be caused to your gut because you ate something that harmed another being. All the laws are very messed up. But if the main rule is be kind to others and treat them the way you want to be treated, the way that we have been treating the planets, the animals, the plants, all of that's not cool. Like they get killed by the hundreds, thousands a day just for people to have a 99-cent burger. And then they like inject them with all sorts of stuff. The crops are dying. Like there are so many ways we are killing the planet. And right now, this planet is toxic. It is the perfect breeding environment, the perfect carrying environment for these entities that are being released. They tricked a couple greedy humans into doing rituals to attack everybody else. And it comes through the ley lines and your devices. And it's mainly on full moons, which is what today is too. So keep your head covered. Take a saltwater bath. Be kind to yourself because this is a full moon in Capricorn. This has to do with Saturn, which is another name for like jigsaw. You will be tested on something coming up. This has something to do with your career and your family, maybe home versus family. Ooh. Every day you are given task in alignment with where you will end up. Every decision is leading you down a path. So think about it. If every decision is a plus or a minus based upon you going with your moral compass, where are you headed? That's how you'll know what's going on every day or what's going on in the long run. If you are eating McDonald's every day, you know what path you're going down. If you are ingesting the fruit of the earth, planting trees, breathing that good prana, the fresh air, and getting out and stretching and all those things, you know that's a different trajectory from the other one. I think a simple principle of shadow work is honesty with self. If you can't stop bullshitting yourself, how can you make it through life? Life will bullshit you. You have to be disgustingly, I don't want to say brutally because you should still be calm, but you need to be brutally honest, like a Sagittarius to yourself. Like, girl, you playing yourself. Come on now. Where's this gonna go in the future? What are you doing? In order to deal with this game, y'all, we are in an escape from Earth tournament of champions. So this is just my little piece today, just randomly, because I came over here to start my videos. And I did a whole like 15-20 minute video and it didn't feel, I don't feel so much like doing channel messages or teaching or anything, particularly right like with this video here, or what I want to do going forward. I just want to talk to y'all like a person and share the knowledge that I've got, not from like a pedestal or anything. I don't even want y'all to look up to me or nothing like this. This stuff is coming through me, guys. I watched Lucy the other day because I wanted to understand what was happening with my gifts. And I know that seems extra, but it's because of the drug part that was in there that was really like extra if you've seen it. But the understanding of how ascension happens, how your vibration raises, and the gifts that come along with you being closer to source. That's what I was looking for. While watching that movie, it became my understanding that I won't have to worry about the whole thing that she had to worry about, like the dying, because I am not downloading the data that is coming to me directly to my server. I am constantly streaming stuff through me so that I don't burn out my human. When I step into a room, I can tap into like anything in the room and get info on it, which is freaky. When somebody talks to me, it's like a whole thing going on. My dad wrote me like 2 years ago, right? And he was like, I was just watching True Blood and it made me think of you, which is really funny to me because, like I said in the beginning, he used to call me dark. But I think he's starting to remember me too, because my telepathic gifts are the ones that like usually stood out in every lifetime. Like I used to be able to not only read other people's thoughts or hear other people's thoughts, but I could inject them or tell them stuff too, or like have a conversation back and forth, which totally ended me up in many messed up situations in other lives where gifts like this were not appreciated. And I'm hoping this ain't another one in my lives where I found out they're not appreciated too, because it is getting to that point. 211 looked at me the other day about something, and I told him don't cuss at me, and he was like, I didn't say anything to you. And I was like, you just said, God damn. No, I said, don't take the Lord's name in vain. He was like, I didn't say anything. I was like, you just said, God damn. He was like, get out of my head. But that is happening more often. And it's not just with him. So I need to lock in sometimes and make sure that I am hearing from the Most High and not like the other guys, because they're consistently there. I even like heard a job opportunity recently like come across my ways, which is the weirdest thing, right? And the details were fine. I'm totally with it. It just depends on who it comes from. But we'll see where this story goes, guys. I hope I gave y'all some helpful info in here, me just blabbing, but this felt comfortable. It felt good to my inner child. I used to love Clarissa Explains It All. Ooh, that's sort of like teenage Sex in the City. There is something coming together here, guys. And when I pull it together, it's going to be amazing. Just rock with me while I'm in the transition of becoming the diamonds that the Most High wants me to be. Bye.